What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Simon Says. I'm making this video right now while I'm driving because my mind is fresh, and I wanna be able to capture my thoughts. Plus, driving just kind of helps me to, I guess, speak more clearly. Be more intentional about what I say. Because I gotta focus on one thing, and I already know what I want to say. So therefore, it just comes out much more natural. But I want to talk today about do looks really matter? And I don't mean that when you're trying to talk to somebody. I think we have an illusion problem within our society. Everybody wants to be represented a certain way. We all want to look a certain way because maybe we think it'll make people respect us a little bit more, or it'll make people like us a little bit more, for whatever reason, right? But we value looks a lot. More than we really should, right? And I think what happens is we have a society full of people who they desire to be accepted for who they really are, but at the same time, they don't actually know how to express themselves. So they try to copy somebody else, right? You have all the celebrities, the influencers, the models, whoever. These people are what we as a society have, verbally or non-verbally agreed are the people we should try to be like, because they're successful. They're an example of maybe hard work, of winning, of just succeeding in life. So we try to copy them in a sense. We try to be like them, to talk like them, act like them, even look like them. Essentially, we want to do everything short of being them, right? And I think this is what causes a lot of us to have this image problem, this problem of always feeling like people don't like us for who we really are. But at the same time, we're not really expressing ourselves accurately. We're not really showing people who we really are. Now, I believe that there are certain things you could change about yourself that don't really change how authentic you are. They just change maybe how you will address certain situations. Maybe you're someone who really, really likes to talk, and you have a problem with being able to listen. Definitely developing your listening skills is something that you can definitely do, right? If you are someone who maybe wants to get in better shape, that's something that you should do. Obviously, I think being healthy is an advantage. It's never a disadvantage, So there are certain changes that you should make to your life, and there are certain models that you can use to help you get there. I think the goal has to be something a little further than the immediate pleasure of looking a certain way. I think if it's something that's just vain, if it's something that's just on the surface level, if there's nothing past it, right? I think that's when you start getting into trouble. If you go to the gym because you think that having a six-pack and all these muscles is gonna help you get women's attention, there's more to it than that. But now, if you say, hey, I do want to look better, I do want to do that, but my overall goal is just to be as fit as possible, or as fit as I can be, is to be as healthy as I can be, then I would say, hey, go for it. Don't go into it thinking that this is the only thing that's going to make my life better, but go into it saying, hey, you know what? I'm aware that maybe it makes my life better, but maybe it doesn't. But even at the end of the process, I'm still going to be healthier. I watched a video yesterday where I guess it was a young lady on TikTok, and I don't like the fact that I'm starting to say young lady. I'm only 26. I'm still young, but it was a young lady on TikTok, and she was having a surgery done. And I don't know what the surgery was. I don't know what the procedure was, but it's something where they put spoon under the eyelid, and it's something with the eyes. I guess there's a tool that they're putting that they're using on the eyelids, and they don't want it to damage the actual eye, so they put a spoon under the eyelid to do the procedure. So she's doing this, and then in the caption she reads, it reads something along the lines of, men have made the beauty standard almost impossible for women to attain. And in the comment section, everybody's like, no, we haven't, and I'm one of the people that's like, no, that's not something that men have any control of. I think what happens is, though, there is a certain judgment that a lot of women use that is inaccurate. Now, I'm not a dating expert. I'm not a relationship expert. I don't know these things like most people probably do, right? However, the one thing I do know as a man in my 26 years of life is there are certain women that we just find naturally much more attractive, but the rest doesn't mean that the rest of other women aren't attractive, right? The same way that there are certain guys that a lot of women would find much more attractive than other men. Doesn't mean that the men that they're currently with, they don't find attractive. When you put so much meaning on how something looks, though, is when you start to get into problems. If you feel that you have to change yourself because maybe you seeing someone looking better than you is causing you to feel insecure. Maybe you seeing that, maybe you're a young lady and you're noticing that a lot of guys are going for a certain type of women, right? And that causes you to feel insecure. That is dangerous territory to be in, especially if you're contemplating starting to change your personal appearance solely because of of the attention that woman is getting. Same with the guys. If you're a guy and you're seeing how this other dude's getting so much attention from other women because maybe he drives a nicer car, maybe he's much more in shape, maybe he, is always blowing money all the time, and you're contemplating changing your lifestyle so that you can get that kind of attention or validation from women, you're in dangerous territory. And I think, although a lot of us realistically may not be able to get to that kind of status in life, let's be honest, not every guy's going to be able to have that kind of money to just flash around. Not every guy's going to be able to have a nice car. Just like not every girl is going to be, a 9 or a 10 or an 8, right? I'm not going to go any further than that. I know a lot of women get offended whenever you say that they're anything less than what they think they are. But what I'm really saying is this. In a grand scheme of things, beauty is deeper than just the outside appearance. There is more to people than just how we present ourselves. I think the main issue is, though, we have inherently focused more on quantity than quality. I think we look at the people who are successful, we see the things that they produce, that they do. We see the things that make them successful, and we immediately try to copy that instead of finding out what things they did behind the scenes that helped them to get to where they are now. When you see a guy who is really attractive, who's really successful, or who just looks a certain way, don't just try to emulate that and hope that you can somehow get the same respect and attention that he's getting. Same with you ladies. If you see a woman who's getting the type of love, affection, respect that you want to have, don't just immediately try to look like her and think that I have to look like her in order to get that kind of validation from the guys. It's much more deeper than that, because most of us, if we were to meet a really, really, really attractive person, right, but they had a terrible attitude, they were ungrateful, they disrespected you, there is a very limited amount of time to which you're willing to overlook that. There is a very limited amount of time to which you can say, hey, you know what? You're very attractive, so I'm willing to put up with it. After maybe a couple days, a couple hours, a couple months, there's a finite amount of time to which you're willing to put up with that. Regardless of how good they look or how much respect they have based solely on their appearance, if they are not someone who respects you, you will not tolerate them for a very long time. So what really matters, and this is cliche to say, but what really matters is the content of somebody's character more so than who they present themselves to be. Who you present yourself to be should be a result of who you are on the inside. It should almost be the final product. Like you've done a lot of introspect, you've done a lot of inner work, you've developed yourself. You have internally, as far as character-wise, you are the person you want to be. And now physically, on the outside, people look at that and say, wow, we don't know what you've done in your personal life, but we see the success that you're having, we see the respect that you're having. The right question should be, how did you do it? How did you get here? It's okay to ask somebody how they look like that. Matter of fact, when I'm in the gym and I see somebody with the type of physique that I want to have, I immediately go up to them and say, hey man, listen, how did you get to where you are right now? How do you look that way? How do you get, what workouts do you do? What's your diet like, right? Because I have a little bit of knowledge, but obviously they're further ahead in their journey with fitness than I am. So of course I'm gonna ask questions. I'm not just gonna all of a sudden say I have to look like that regardless of how much it's gonna cost me, right? I'm not gonna say, hey, to the detriment of my health, to the detriment of, maybe the respect of others. I wanted to, no, you gotta take things, you gotta do things the right way. You gotta go about certain things the right way. If they did it in a healthy way, in a way that works, cool. And here is the most important lesson you also have to understand. Sometimes that look that you really desire may not be for you. And that's the hardest lesson to accept sometimes, is that look, that respect, that status, that validation that you really want may not be for you. That if the only way to attain that is to do something drastic, let it go. And be okay with who you are. Be okay of the work that you've put in. Be okay with what you've done in your personal life. Be okay with the progress that you've made. There's too many people in this world that are so busy trying to be someone else that ultimately they forget who they are. And then in that pursuit of trying to be like someone else, you start having friends that are more interested in who you're pretending to be than who you are. You get into relationships with people who are more interested with who you're pretending to be than who you are. You get into types of connections with people who are more interested with who you're pretending to be than who you are. And at the very core of ourselves, the very reason that you did this was so that people would like you for who you are. But they don't even know you because you don't know yourself. Or at the very least, you're not representing yourself. You're representing an idea that you bought from somebody else, who maybe they sold it to you, maybe they didn't. So I really want to challenge the people who are going to watch this video. I want to challenge you. Ask yourself, are you doing the things that you're doing right now to better yourself because you want to simply get the respect that someone else is getting, because you want the validation that someone else is getting, because you want the attention that someone else is getting? Or are you doing it because you truly believe that this is the right path for your life? And I don't have any biblical scriptures for this. This is just my personal word. There's probably a scripture in the Bible somewhere. I'm just not remembering it right now. But we need to understand that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to not be like somebody else. Some people have different gifts. Some people have different talents. Some people are unique in ways that you're not unique in, and it is completely okay. Find out your own strengths. Find people who are more in love, who are more interested in who you are, because those people will support you when you're trying to better yourself, and they'll be the very same people to stop you when they realize that what you're doing is a contradiction to who you are. I always like to say, the people in your life are there for a reason, right? And it's your job to either to essentially analyze what that reason is. Are they there because you're selling them something? Are they there because you're trying to appeal to a certain desire of theirs? Or are they there because they see something in you that they like? Are they there because they like the content of your character? Are they there because they like who you are? Because that's who you've shown yourself to be, And I think once we start asking ourselves these questions, and we build a society full of people who say, hey, it's okay to be yourself. Sure, go out and better yourself, but make sure you better yourself because you know it's going to make you a better you. And that better you is going to make our society not more better. The better you will make society better. I'm stumbling over my words, man. But I truly believe that if we can get in our mindset that looks do not matter as much as we think they do. The appearance is simply a doorway into something deeper. Everybody's got a deeper story, but don't get caught up in trying to make the door so fancy and so appealing that when people walk in, they're like, there's nothing else past this. You've put all your energy into trying to look so appealing that when I'm trying to get to know you, there's nothing. Everything is all surface level. I'm trying to dive into the deeper waters and you're keeping me in the shallow end. I think that's what caused a lot of us to not have those deep connections that we're wanting to develop in our lives. And that can only happen when we understand that it's okay to be ourselves. And that when we are ourselves, ultimately what's going to happen is the people that stay in our lives are going to be there because they like who we are. And that's far more important than trying to have many friends and many relationships. Yeah, you may not have as many friends as you truly think you have. You might have a whole bunch of people that you know and 3 really, really good friends. But I promise you those 3 really, really good friends are worth more than the 5, 10, 15 of the acquaintances. The people that just come and hang around. So I hope this word got to somebody. I hope whoever watches this video, you get what you need to get out of it. I hope it encourages you to be yourself, to better yourself, but at least better yourself so that you can be a better you. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I have. That's it, man. It's Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday. So, get at it. Work. Make that money. Do what you got to do. Love your family. Spend time with your family, and try to make the world a little better. Deuces.